Have you ever felt like your body just isn't what it used to be? It's not exactly pain, and it's not really illness either, but it's that feeling that it takes longer to get up. Climbing a few stairs makes your heart race, or maybe one day you realize even opening a jar of sauce feels harder than it should be. I've met so many patients like that. They walk into my clinic and say, "Doc, I eat well, I go for walks every morning, but I don't know why. I just feel weaker and weaker." And I always tell them the same thing, which I want to share with you today too. There's this tiny little seed, nothing fancy to look at, but it actually has more protein than an egg. Yes, you heard that right. Just one spoonful a day of this seed can help protect your muscles, nourish your joints, support your nerves, and even improve your sleep, all the things we begin to value even more as we move past 60. The condition I'm talking about is called sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. It creeps in quietly, without warning. But it's one of the main reasons why older adults fall, lose balance, and lose independence. But here's what I want you to know. It's never too late to rebuild your inner strength. One spoonful a day, it sounds small. But sometimes, it's the smallest things that make the biggest difference. Are you ready to start with something that small? You know, there's one thing most people don't realize until it's too late. And that's how silently our muscles disappear, what medicine calls sarcopenia. I once asked a patient in his 70s, "When was the last time you stood up from a chair without using your hands?" He smiled sadly. "Maybe 10 years ago." Sarcopenia means gradually losing muscle mass and strength as we age. After 60, our bodies start to lose about 1 to 3% of muscle per year. Sounds small, but give it a few years, and it becomes a big change. I want you to imagine this. One day you try to get up from a chair, and your knees just can't push you up. You try to open a jar, and your hands aren't strong enough. You go to step over a curb, but your legs hesitate. Once we've lost more than 20% of our strength, things that used to be simple walking, bathing, dressing suddenly become real challenges. And what breaks my heart is most people don't even notice until it's too late. Because sarcopenia doesn't hurt. It doesn't knock on the door. It just quietly steals your freedom bit by bit. Have you ever felt that way, that you're more tired, weaker, not as steady as before? I'm sharing this not to scare you, but to remind you there's still time. If we understand it and act early, we can hold on to our strength for the road ahead. Aging doesn't take everything from us, but neglect can. I had a patient named Mrs. Lan, 67 years old. One morning, she came to see me. She sat down and said, "Doctor, I don't know what's going on. Lately, I feel tired all the time. Climbing stairs, my legs shake like I've lost all strength." I asked her gently, "Do you still cook at home?" She laughed. "Of course I eat just fine. Rice, soup, fish, meat, all the usual." And that's something I hear a lot. People eat enough, but not always right, especially for a body that's quietly changing with age. So I suggested something simple, chickpea flour. No pills, no strict diets, no hard-to-find ingredients. Just 100 grams of chickpea flour contains more than 20 grams of protein, and it's plant-based, easy to digest, and packed with fiber, iron, and folate, all essential for muscles and the nervous system. I use it myself. Sometimes I stir it into soup, sometimes mix it with warm water, like a dairy-free drink. And on Sundays, I make pancakes. No eggs, no flour, just chickpea flour. Tasty and kind to the body. And you know what, Mrs. Lan came back 6 weeks later, smiling bright. Climbing stairs feels way easier now. And weirdly, I sleep better too. Sometimes change doesn't start with a big breakthrough. It starts with a spoonful of flour in your quiet kitchen. Would you believe that I want you to picture this? You wake up one morning, go to get out of bed, and suddenly notice your legs feel weaker than they did yesterday. Not painful, not alarming, just unstable. And you think to yourself, must be age catching up with me. But what if I told you, age isn't the only reason? What if there's something else quietly breaking down your strength? Something most people ignore. It's called chronic inflammation and nutrient loss in our muscles and bones. A patient of mine, Mr. Arthur, 72 years old, was used to living with minor back pain, stiff knees every morning. He told me, "Doc, I guess this is just how it goes when you're old." But he was wrong, and so are many others. One time after a chat, I suggested something that seemed small. Try adding just 1 spoonful of moringa powder a day. Moringa, sometimes called the miracle tree, packs 7 grams of protein per tablespoon and is rich in calcium, iron, and potassium. It not only helps rebuild muscle mass that's slowly fading with age, but also supports chronic inflammation, that sneaky culprit behind joint pain, loss of balance, and general weakness in older adults. 6 weeks later, Mr. Arthur gave me a call and said, "My back isn't as stiff. I've started walking in the mornings again, Doc." And I smiled, because sometimes healing doesn't begin in an operating room or with a prescription. It starts with a spoonful of powder stirred into a warm glass of water in the morning. Do you believe something that small can make a real difference? I do. And I hope you'll start believing it too. I remember a time when a friend, about my age, maybe 65, came by after a light gym session. We were sipping tea, and he asked, "Hey, do you know anything that's good to eat after a workout? Something that's good for the muscles, but won't sit heavy in the stomach?" I smiled and said, "Quinoa." You might have heard of it before, or maybe just seen it on a supermarket shelf and walked right past. But I want you to know, quinoa is a little gift for anyone taking care of their health after 50. Just 1 cup of cooked quinoa. It's small, but it contains around 8 grams of protein. More importantly, it has all 9 essential amino acids, the ones your body can't make on its own. For older adults, that's especially important. As our muscles get weaker, we need high-quality nutrients to help rebuild and stay strong. Picture this. You've just come back from a walk, body still a little sore. Instead of reaching for something greasy or sugary, you go for a warm bowl of quinoa, maybe mixed with veggies or a bit of salmon. It's gentle on your body, but it nourishes you deeply. Quinoa gives you steady energy, and more than that, it becomes a quiet companion, helping your body recover after movement, whether it's early morning yoga or just an afternoon in the garden. To me, taking care of your health doesn't always mean big changes. Sometimes it's just choosing a different kind of rice. And what you choose for your body, that's what makes a lasting difference. Now, I want you to think back to a home-cooked meal from a few years ago. Maybe your mother was still cooking, or maybe you were the one standing by the stove. A familiar dish, simple but comforting, tofu. Have you ever thought that soft piece of tofu could be your quiet ally in staying strong in your 60s and 70s? I had a patient named Linda, 64 years old, a former music teacher. After menopause, she said she felt like she was shrinking, losing energy with hip pain every morning. She once told me with a heavy voice, "I don't feel like myself anymore, doctor." I suggested she try replacing a few meals with firm tofu, the kind with less water, more protein, about 15 g per 150 degrees, and easy to digest. But there's more. It's got calcium and magnesium, both essential for maintaining bone density and muscle mass, especially for postmenopausal women like Linda. 3 months later, she came back, smiling. I don't feel like I'm fading away anymore. I've started playing piano again every afternoon. Sometimes you don't need a dramatic change, just something familiar. A piece of tofu, lightly pan-fried, sprinkled with a pinch of pink salt, and a few scallions. When you repeat that at the right time in the right way, it stops being just a dish. It becomes part of your healing journey. Have you ever overlooked tofu? If you have, maybe today's the day to take another look. Because it's in the little things that we find the strength we thought we'd lost. I want you to remember a quiet afternoon. Maybe at the park or just sitting on your porch. You were snacking on a few sunflower seeds, letting your thoughts drift with the breeze. We've eaten those seeds since we were young. Just a habit. But not many people realize those tiny seeds can be a nutritional medicine for anyone over 60. Have you ever felt tired for no clear reason? Not from lack of sleep? Not from doing too much? Just this strange feeling like your body's slowly deflating. One of my patients once said, "Doc, I'm not in pain. It's just like every day, a little bit of my energy gets drained away." I get it. Because it's real. And part of the reason is that our muscles and nerves are gradually weakening. Your body needs to be nourished from the inside out. Sunflower seeds, simple as they seem, have 21 grams of protein per 100 grams, plus vitamin E, selenium, and magnesium. Nutrients that feed your nerve cells, fight off chronic fatigue, and protect your muscles from silent degeneration. I often tell my patients, start with something small. Sprinkle a handful of roasted seeds over your porridge, mix them into afternoon yogurt, or just snack on them instead of sweets. No need to make it a big deal, because it's the tiny, simple, consistent things that truly keep you healthy in the long run. Have you had your sunflower seeds today? If not, try it. And see how something so small can make a big difference. There was this one time I was talking to a patient in their 60s. They had just started walking again every morning after taking a long break because of joint pain. They told me, "I want to get stronger, but after each walk, I feel totally drained. Maybe I'm missing something." I nodded. What he said wasn't surprising at all. At this age, the body needs support, and not just from movement or exercise, but from what we feed it every single day. I told him about Sasha Inchi seeds, tiny, yes, but a kind of silent warrior when it comes to senior health. In just 100 grams, there are 25 to 30 grams of protein, which is impressive. But it's more than just protein. These seeds are also rich in omega-3, omega-6, vitamin A and E, all key nutrients to help rebuild muscle, reduce inflammation, and keep the body flexible and resilient, especially after light physical activity. I want you to picture this. You come home from a gentle yoga class, blend a smoothie, and add a small spoon of Sacha Inchi powder. It's not complicated, but in that moment, you're quietly feeding your muscles, your joints, your recovery. Have you noticed that your body takes longer to bounce back than it used to? That even light chores leave you feeling drained? That's not weakness. That's your body simply missing the right kind of fuel. For me, caring for your health after 50 is a bit like tending a garden. It takes time, patience, and the right kind of nourishment, like Sacha Inchi, small but powerful, working deep from the roots. Now, I want you to imagine something else. Each morning, you give your body a new chance, a small opportunity to recover, to grow stronger than yesterday. And sometimes, that opportunity is found in something as small as a spoonful of seeds. I'm talking about hemp seeds. They're small, soft, with a mild, nutty taste, kind of like young walnuts, but they're the superstars when it comes to supporting the aging body. I remember one of my uncles, 68 years old, a former Marine, once told me, "I'm not afraid of getting old. I'm afraid of the day I can't stand up on my own. And I told him, you don't have to fight aging. You just need to nourish your strength from within. Hemp seeds contain 31 to 33 grams of protein per 100 grams, way more than eggs, which only offer about 13 grams. And more importantly, it's complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids, and it's easy to digest even for older adults with sensitive digestion. But hemp seeds don't stop there. They're packed with omega-3s, magnesium, zinc, and iron nutrients that help fight inflammation, support joints, nerves, and even improve sleep quality. I sprinkle a spoonful over warm rice smoothies or oatmeal. No cooking, no fuss, but steady, reliable results. You might not notice the difference the very next day, but trust me, your body will thank you every single day for that one small, consistent choice. You know, I've met so many people after 60 who suddenly start paying attention to protein. They read books, watch videos, and then ask me, how many grams of protein should I eat per day? Do I need to drink protein shakes? 2. Those are great questions. But here's what I always tell them. It's not just about more protein. It's about the right kind at the right time in the right combination. One of my old patients, a woman in her mid-60s, very disciplined, ate all the right foods. Seeds, beans, even protein shakes daily. But she still felt tired, bloated, and her lab work showed early signs of kidney stress. So I sat her down and asked, "Are you drinking enough water?" She looked surprised. I didn't think protein had anything to do with water. But it does. When you increase your protein intake, especially plant-based protein, your body needs more water to digest it, absorb it, and eliminate the byproducts. If you don't drink enough, your kidneys are the ones working overtime quietly, but constantly. And here's something else I always say. Don't just eat protein and sit still. Take a walk. Do a few stretches. Try gentle yoga. Just move. Because once your body senses movement, it understands it needs to repair to rebuild muscle. And the protein you eat will actually be put to good use. In the end, you don't need expensive supplements. A bowl of beans, some greens, a few spoonfuls of quinoa, or sacha inchi. When combined thoughtfully, they give you all the essential amino acids, no red meat, no pricey pills required. You see, taking care of your health isn't always about money. It's about understanding your body and giving it what it needs. Your body is like a garden, and what you plant into it each day shapes the harvest that comes next. Now imagine this. It's a quiet morning. You wake up after 60. You feel light in your body, steady on your feet, clear in your mind. Not because you got lucky, but because you've been taking care of yourself every day in the smallest ways. One of the morning rituals I often recommend to my patients, and I do it myself, is what I call a muscle-nourishing breakfast. It's not fancy. No pills, no complicated prep, just one bowl, a little planning the night before, and a little kindness toward your own body. I mix 1 tablespoon of hemp seeds, a plant-based protein powerhouse. Then add 2 tablespoons of cooked quinoa, an ancient grain with all essential amino acids. 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, great for digestion and heart health. And 1 tablespoon of sunflower or sacha inchi seeds to help reduce inflammation and support joint health. That's it. Simple, nourishing, and just the right kind of fuel for the day ahead. I drizzle on half a cup of plain yogurt or almond milk. Slice half an apple or banana. And if I feel like it, add a few drops of lemon juice to help the body absorb iron better. Give it a good mix. Then I sit down, eat slowly, breathe deeply, and thank my body. One of my patients once said, after a month of having breakfast like this, "Doctor, I don't just feel stronger. I feel like I'm living with intention again, and I truly believe you can feel that too. All it takes is one small bowl each morning. Now I want you to pause for a moment and think about this. Have you ever felt like you're doing all the right things, taking your meds on time, trying to eat well, but your body still isn't cooperating? Still tired, still forgetful, still feeling a little weaker each day? One of my patients, she was 68, once told me, "I don't want to just rely on pills. I want to feel better from the inside." And I understand that feeling deeply. Because sometimes the magic happens in the most basic things, like having a solid protein-rich meal just 4 times a week. And I'm not talking about anything fancy or expensive. I'm talking about simple, real meals with around 15 to 20 grams of complete protein, a bit of fiber, healthy fats, and natural vitamins from veggies, seeds, or beans. You'd be surprised to know that if you do that consistently, just 4 times a week,